Hey everybody, it's Flyin Ryan here with the review of the Hogs Star Trek U.S.S. Enterprise NCC-1701-A. And I'd imagine there's quite a few people that are excited to see this. Very cool model here. You can finally fly the Star Trek Enterprise around your living room. It is essentially a quadcopter. You can see the four rotors there inside this main body, which they've made into like a protective housing. So pretty clever how they turn the Enterprise into a quadcopter. And then this whole back body here is just all foam, so it's really light. I would imagine it's counterbalanced. There's probably weight up here. Yeah, I think this is actually the battery there in the front. So even though it looks like it's tail heavy, I think it's pretty balanced out actually. Yeah, it looks like it actually kind of, no, yeah, it balances pretty well there. Maybe a little, well, yeah, it's holding pretty well. So yeah, it's balanced out. I did find mine to want to drift backwards a little bit, but it wasn't really too bad. And there are trim buttons here, so you can kind of trim it out actually. So that's pretty nice that they allowed some trim. While we've got the transmitter, we'll go ahead and look at this. We have sounds that we can turn on and off, so you can activate different, or I think it's, yeah, the right button here plays different sounds. So as you hit that, it'll just play a automated sound, and it plays out of the transmitter here, not out of the quadcopter itself. So that'll cycle through a bunch of different sounds, and then the left bumper here puts in like a warp mode, so it blasts forward a little bit faster than it normally would be able to fly forward. And then otherwise, we've got normal full 4-channel control, so you got throttle on the left, and then left and right yaw on the left, and then your forward and backward pitch and left and right roll on the right stick. So if you've never flown a quadcopter before, that may take a little getting used to, but this right stick basically leans it in all directions, and then the right stick or the left stick is how you're going to get your throttle to hold a hover, and then moving it left and right rotates the quad so you can change the way it's facing. Let's see, I think that covers the transmitter. You cannot charge off the transmitter this time, which usually Hogs allow you to, but this has a large 650 milliamp hour battery in it, so you would burn through the AA batteries pretty quickly if you charged off the transmitter. So instead they add a USB cable with it, and then you charge via a USB power source, and it just plugs in right there. We've got an on-off switch here, which I'll go ahead and show. It has LEDs in the back thrusters there and in the front here. Looks like maybe some LED going on inside there too. So pretty cool how it lights up. Go ahead and turn that back off. I believe it has a normal gyro in it, but it does not have an accelerometer in it. So it doesn't really auto level very well. I mean, it kind of naturally auto levels, but it can get a little wobbly at times. It's a little unstable and kind of slow and awkward. So definitely, this is more about flying a scale model and just having fun with the novelty of it. It's no super stellar flyer or anything like that. So you're gonna want to keep it slow and calm and just enjoy flying it around the living room or something. Don't, you're not going to probably want to fly this outdoors in any amount of wind or anything like that. It just doesn't quite have the power, and then the gyro just doesn't seem to do that great of a job keeping it super stable. But it does, I think it uses the gyro to notice, like if you crash into stuff, it'll make a sound, or when you land, it makes a sound. So on the box here, it says 10 authentic sounds. So I think between the ones that you can flip through there and like crash sounds and takeoff and landing sounds and whatnot, it's got a bunch of different actual, movie or TV show unique or authentic sounds. So that's pretty cool. It takes about an hour and a half to charge with that USB cable, and you get about 5 minutes and 20-second long flights with only about a 5-second LVC warning. So the LEDs will blink just for 5 seconds or so before it'll slowly run out of power and kind of land itself. Let's see if there's anything else to say about this one. No, that looks like that covers it, so let's go ahead and take it for a flight. Alright, this is the flight review of the Star Trek U.S.S. Enterprise from Hogs. I know this is definitely a case of form over function. This is, more of a novelty, toy scale model than, a stellar performing quadcopter. It's definitely not a great flyer by any means, but it flies well enough to look cool, and especially if you're a Star Trek fan, this is quite an iconic spaceship, so pretty neat to be able to fly it around the room. I am bound up here. You can see we've got a white light in the center, and then when the props move, the back thruster pod thingies there light up blue. So kind of cool. Got some. Oh, and we also have a blue LED in that pod down there on the bottom. So I'll go ahead and see if I can take off from this little display stand here, see how that goes. And then we do have some sounds that come out of the transmitter, and then like a forward thrust button to give it a little bit of a boost of a speed. But that's really all there is to it. There's no rates or flips or anything. So we'll go ahead and give it a spin. Not bad for a takeoff. See, I don't think this has an accelerometer. I think it's just a 3-axis gyro with kind of natural self-leveling tendencies or something. Like it doesn't seem to hold a hover very well. It kind of drifts around quite a bit and kind of get in like a vortex ring state. So you definitely want to keep it slow and calm. If you try too fast the movements, it gets out of control pretty quick. And not much pitch to it either. I'm giving full stick inputs trying to get it to move away from stuff there, and it just doesn't want to. Definitely best for a big indoor area. So let me go ahead and press that right bumper button now. Oh, is that? Oh, right. That just makes sounds. There we go. I think it's. Yeah. Okay, I was wrong. The right bumper button just. Yeah, it makes that sound when you crash too. The right bumper, this red one, just makes sounds. I think it's got, I think it says 10 authentic sounds. Alright, I think that looped through all of them, didn't it? Yeah. And then this left bumper is the like forward thrust button. So let me go ahead and try that again. Get it back over here, and then left bumper, and that just did that on its own. So not enough room in this small area for that. This would definitely be a better one to fly in like a big gym or something, or if you've got a large house with a lot of open area. But yeah, that forward thrust actually gives a pretty decent little kick of speed for a second. And that's full yaw right there, so it doesn't turn very fast. And man, I'm giving full stick input. It doesn't want to come off that suction off the wall there. But yeah, I mean, you can see it full stick forward, full stick forward, full stick forward. Sometimes it just does really weird full stick forward, full stick forward. It's like this vortex ring state stuff where sometimes it just gets stuck in its own prop wash or something, and it just doesn't want to move, doesn't want to react to your inputs. It just kind of drifts all over the place. Not very controllable sometimes. But it sure does look cool. Yeah, full stick forward, full stick forward, full stick forward, full stick forward, and finally it gets going. So I think that's because it doesn't have an accelerometer. I think Air Hogs needs to start working with accelerometers a little bit more so these things, you know, have some authority and they hold their angle better and make more corrections instead of just trying to use natural aerodynamics. So it just doesn't work quite well. Full stick forward, and crash again. So yeah, I think that was really all there is to show, and it's not like I'm going to be able to land it back on that thing, so no reason to try to go in for a landing. But that's the U.S.S. Enterprise from Star Trek, from Air Hogs. And you know, like I said, it's, you know, it looks cool and it's definitely a fun novelty flyer, but definitely not a very good performer. So you know, don't expect to be zipping this thing around or anything. This is definitely just for fans to, you know, enjoy the nostalgia and coolness factor of it, not for, you know, high performance flying or anything like that. But you know, if you just like the style of it, you know, you want like a scale model on your shelf that actually flies, it's pretty cool for that. Alright, we'll check the video description for a price and purchase link. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time.